well-trained engineers, the mindset. Even in this region, we can talk about Joseph Stefan, Tesla, people that we can be proud that they come from here and show what visionaries we can be. But also in the business, we need to have a courage to say, hey, I want R&D to be in Slovenia. How do you then put the arguments why it should be here?
Exactly because of this historical fact. Yeah, if one looks back in Slovenia, you know, we had in 80s, in 70s. I'm now getting closer to you. We had fantastic products. We have global top products from Iskra phone, computers, washing machines, skis, sailing boats. Those top class. Out of several reasons, many
Did I hear skis are still the best? Because I know Leon is in the room.
Super. You know,
Elan, you know.
There was this product superiority was existing and knowledge, and this is not disappearing. It just translates from the generation to generation. And what was a bit less successful, it was business models. Yeah, and sometimes I saw with colleagues that when we are at home, we are very brave and we have ideas. And when we are crossing Karavanke, we are just listening and wait. So I think that this courage we should take with. And because it does not take a lot. You need a good product. You need HR and financial resources. And then you just need to go, understand the game and be brave. And compete. Not complain,
Great. Compete, not complain. This I'll remember. This morning we started with a pre-event from our colleagues that flew in from US, from 5 states, from Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio, from Nevada, and North Carolina. And I enjoyed so much because they were competing in a way that they were supporting each other. But you know what? They all said, dark. No, sorry, I need to react to the things that are happening. But no, what they said is like, we are the first in this, the first in that. So it was so many the first. So Americans are really good in that. Mr. Frangish, Mateusz, what are we the first at?
Well, you mentioned some of the Slovenian or regional giants when you said Joseph Stefan, Tesla. Well, we were first that envisioned the rocket motor and rocket traveling through space by another Slovenian giant, Herman Potočnik Nordung, in 1929. Decades before Apollo 11, he wrote a book, The Problem of Space Travel. Envisioned the rocket motor, what will be needed. His book is equipped with more than 100 detailed sketches of how should the rocket motor and space station look like. So we wanted to go into the space. And now I proudly say that at our ministry, we nurtured the strong ecosystem of Slovenian space sector, consisted of more than 40 prosperous businesses that are now entering the second or even third generation of the programs of the European Space Agency and some also of NASA. And some of the businesses try, for example, Skylabs last year, managed to put the satellite 6,000 kilometers above the Earth. And the communication link returned. So this microsatellite provides us with new data, with new information, and their business is flourishing. And only this year we had a set of examples of a small nation being very ambitious in space. If I may refer to what was said before, Mr. Brodniak once said that we have to recalibrate our educational system. I strongly agree with that. I'm a lawyer in politics for decades, but however, if I would choose my vocational training today, I would become engineer. First of all, because none of the technological challenges we face now is not as complex as change Slovenian society. Second, it is really something unique, sexy if you'd like, in solving problems. And if we set a proper vision as a nation, what we would like to become in this new big time, all the ambitions could align. So we will face a new generation of people that will go to universities, start their own startup, that will create a really strong and rich ecosystem of new ideas and innovations. I strongly believe in this transformational.
We will call you social engineer, but you will help us to get the digital literacy into the schools. Now I know who will be our great ambassador to do that. But I'm always happy when we have new Slovenes in the room, not small babies, because they would cry, and I don't want that anymore. I have 3 grown-ups, that's good. But new Slovene, who was born all good, John Denhoff, American, who becomes Slovene. John, why big business matters? This is something that I ask everyone, so I would like to hear from you, and why you wanted to become a Slovene.
Thank you, Aisha. Hello, everyone. Well, it's true, I was born in Michigan, and I only 2 months ago became a very proud Slovene. So I think Slovenia is doing something right, and I think we touched on some of the reasons why I personally wanted to be here with my family, and really spend the rest of my days. So it's partly because the quality of living is amazing, the nature is amazing. I think it's a country where you can have a huge impact, and I feel a great hospitality that was mentioned also by many of the aspects. So, it's a interesting process to go through, I will tell you. And I also think, being self-critical with the interest of improving ourselves, you also have to ask, where were the friction points? So, tax comes up a lot. It would be a lot more economical to put my tax residence just over the border, like many Slovenes do. And I'm not proud of that fact, but it is a reality that you have to look at the bottom line. Getting a work permit, I often quote the example of when I lived in Singapore. It takes 1 day. It took me a year to get the first work permit. It took me about 6 years to become a citizen, but the process gets easier as people get to know you. But I think if you think about a big business, and we're talking about big business is really important to bring capital, innovation, expertise, and in fact, I think to provide the scale that a Slovene solo company may never be able to achieve. I mean, we're a population, we're a client base of just 2 million. So if you don't think like a cluster, you're never going to be a big enough company to rival some of the giants that we see in the room. But what I think Slovenia is missing a little bit now, especially when you talk about banking, is stability. When you invest in the bank here, and I came here through big business. So I came first with the Apollo purchase, and I managed to survive, luckily, with the new owners. But I think there's some credit to the fact that we built a good team. We brought in from all these sources. We shamelessly copied and stole from the best around the planet, whether it was payments, whether it was financing. And, to the comment that was made earlier about, everybody likes to bash banks or tax banks when the going gets tough. You do need a stable, solid banking system. I mean, if I studied again, I wouldn't be an engineer. I would still be a banker, because my job is to make people's dreams come true. And everybody needs to save for their futures. You have to save to put your kids in school. You have to save for a new house. You have to make payments and buy stuff. Whatever is important to you, you cannot do it without a sound, reliable bank at your side. We have a lot of learning to do, and we made mistakes. I will be the first to admit that. But we do need to work, I think, better with other big business sectors to help the ESG transformation, and work better with government to make sure that predictability that's so important for foreign investors, and the reason why I'm here, in fact, the reason why almost all these guys are here, is because of that predictability. So that's another part of the formula I think we need to get right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. You see how smart Slovenes are, right? Slovenes are super smart. Thank you, John. Predictability, Mateusz, I'm sorry I'm coming back to you. I really like you, you know that. We are good partners, but you are the representative of the government. What can we do, again, to have more predictable environment in terms of regulation and not over-regulating? Because sometimes really we lose some great talent because they don't get a permit, it takes too long, and then they get just great opportunities.
John forgot to mention one important factor, and that's the wine.
That's number one.
No, it's not the wine, it's the wife, but okay.
Okay. Well, talk more. It's about getting job done. It's about create an agreement, a solid agreement that will bring us into the future. That brings predictability. Of course, we are not past the last crisis of this decade. More will come. The businesses will have to adapt, and we cannot predict all the effects of those crises. But yes, I would like to believe that in this rocky life of ours, Slovenia, as a small economy, has to change one crucial thing. In this shaking world, to become more flexible, to be solid inwards, but very flexible outwards. So that businesses, either domestic or international, will have a strong guarantee what they can expect when doing business in Slovenia. The times, they're changing, and we have to be
on the right spot, right?
Forward-looking to this change, to see this change as a great inspiration, but as possible as we can, be flexible, because this is the only way that in our inner life, inner system, we can create a solid ground that also our people will have the guarantees the society can provide.
And I think that many times in Europe one gets a feeling that business is something that needs to be there, and I'm not criticizing now, but you know, when we look at our friends in US, sometimes you see maybe more this can-do approach, and businesses are there who are driving, and sometimes we get this feeling that we are over-regulated. Is this something that you would agree with?
I was in Israel a few months ago, and I was amazed by the culture of their ecosystem. They pictured the 5 picture of Israeli development, with the amazing startup and innovation ecosystem being now the cornerstone of their economy, that attracted not only global businesses, practically the 50 most innovative companies in the world have some kind of operation there, but changed the individual aspiration. Why? They say, first, if you don't fail at least twice until you're 30, you didn't try good enough. In Slovenia, we are maybe too strict toward ourselves and toward each other when deciding on what is a success and what is a failure. If you don't, you cannot fail if you don't try, and we have to try more. Second, the characteristics I admired, and is very similar to the ones we have, is they help each other. Either in business, either even as competitors, they help each other because they understand that it's about the ecosystem, and that only ecosystem can bring them forward.
And here we
third
may,
one,
sorry.
and I'll finish. Everything what they do, they imagine the global needs and the global solutions for those needs. So not to be concentrated on a small domestic market, but innovate for the world. And I would just like to refer to what Mr. Chernila said. Yes, we had fabulous end products in the past. Now, with all the new technologies, with the new opportunities of those times, we have to think more what end products with new Slovenian brands that will be the product of the Slovenian knowledge, innovation and design can we bring to the world.
Thank you so much. And one thing that I wanted to mention is one aspect that maybe we sometimes forget in Slovenia, that solidarity is something that we showed in the recent floods, and what businesses are now maybe worrying about is not to take advantage of the floods in terms to have more taxes and so on. But I want to maybe go to the ECG, and this is something that all big business is inclined to, and is luckily not only the 3 nice letters, but you really are devoted to that. So maybe if we go one round, maybe Mr. Lolio, what would be the best example that you would showcase from your company, what it brings in the ECG sense to Slovenia?
So basically, for Sandoz and respectively Lek, S is the biggest letter, because basically we really address a broad population of people in need of medicines. And with all the operations we have, not only in Slovenia, but globally, we basically try to make sure that, like my colleague said before, we can make sure that people can get access to medicines, which are affordable, so that basically we cover one part of the needs, whilst our colleagues who are doing innovative medicines can move beyond that and cover the other part. So basically for us, within Sandoz/Lek society, and that responsibility to make sure that we really cover medicine needs in sustainable way, not blowing the proportions of healthcare system, which I know is a very hot topic in Slovenia, but sustainable care about society, that's what we try to bring and strive for.
Mr. Bese, what would you say, OTP, what you will bring, which letter will be the shiniest one?
Among the ESG, probably
Just,
also, sorry. probably OTP can bring a lot of things outside of ESG as well, and also ESG wise as well. To be honest, we also learn a lot from our Slovenian colleagues, because in the Eurozone markets, ECB is regulating ESG very much, so we also learn and we use the practices, very good practices of NKBM Bank and SKB Bank in our group. In my opinion, just to have a little bit of a self-reflection, where we need to improve a little bit is the diversity of our banks. You know, bankers are mostly men, and engineers, and basically bank is most of the banks are IT companies, and in my opinion we have to improve. Actually, we have a female CEO here of our one of our banks, SKB banks.
Anita is sitting there.
So Anita is here. Thank you very much, Anita, to be here. So diversity is important, but also financial inclusion, in my opinion. But
you
we have a lot
that's
of
why I select this color.
Yes, thank you. It is for me.
Very good diversity here. Moderator.
Yes. And also let me reflect to the previous comments. So I strongly agree that talent-wise we need to improve in Eastern Europe, especially in terms of engineers, IT developers. We are lacking IT developers, and they are leaving Eastern Europe and moving to Western Europe. And we can complain about a lot of things, and it is probably Slovenian government doesn't need my defense, but actually, in my opinion, we can complain about a lot of things, but we need companies with more self-confidence. We have the representative of Pfizer here, but actually, the talent who invented the COVID vaccine is from Hungary, from a small town, Szeged. And Katalin Karikó started her research in Hungary, but she had to leave to the US in order to develop the vaccine because it was not viable for her to stay. So in my opinion, we can also have some self-reflection and be more brave as a companies as well, and not only complain about the individuals.
I really like it that so much about courage is said. Bartek, thank you, Mr. Bese. Bartek, you mentioned some good examples of innovation that came from a smaller ecosystem of smaller companies and then became a part of big business. In MasterCard, you do a lot for ESG. This is something that you invest a lot into it. Why it matters?
ESG in a moment, but also a little bit of reflection first. I was listening carefully about Israel. It's one of the markets I have a pleasure to work with as well. And I asked Omer, the person who is running business there, Omer, how is it? You know, you are a startup nation, 24 unicorns, and actually you don't like to speak about 24 unicorns from Israel, but actually you like to speak that you are the highest number of unicorns per inhabitant, because it's also less than 10 million people country, and actually they are number 1 and number 5 in terms of unicorns in general. And he said there is one sentence to describe it. We are there because we never think about Israeli market starting the business. We are always thinking about US. So whoever is starting the business is starting in US and then coming to Israel, maybe as number 5 or number 6, probably first coming to Europe. So there is something in it, you know, regardless the size of the market, having this courage and you know, kind of drive to think about global aspects, not only local market, because sometimes it can be a limitation. ESG. Yeah, this is something, you know, which I think came very much to us with internet, because we can speak very nice words, very nice sentences, but everybody can read about us, you know, can check how it is, whether what employees are saying or what people are thinking about our companies. So it's an important aspect. And I will start from something a little bit strange, because I will start with bonus structure. Since this year, every employee of our company has 5% of its bonus associated with ESG targets. So there are ESG targets which are global. I think we are very much focused on environmental aspects, but also ESG as well. And environmental targets are global. So there is 100 million trees to be planted, mostly in rainforest Amazonia by 2025. 2 billion people financially included in the world, and there are a couple of targets like that. But I think what we are struggling a little bit with, and it's important for us as well, is how to incorporate local targets, you know, because global sounds very, very nice and of course can be very specific to certain regions, but I think everybody can bring something to the society. So whether it is Slovenia, Poland or Israel, I think everybody wants to take care about local space. And this is reflected in our bonus structure now.
Great. So what you cannot measure, it's not there.
Absolutely.
Mr. Czernila, what Trimo brought to Recity-Cell as a multinational company? What did they learn from you in terms of ESG or whatever you want to say? But what is this that you can say, hey, they learned it from us?
They're still learning. And it was, you know, we are a premium supplier of mineral wool panels. For those who doesn't know, we are in the isolation business. And to describe isolation business, the easiest way is that you are bringing the envelope to the building, and this envelope has just one function, to keep conditions inside, no matter what is happening around, stable. Mm-hmm. So that is fundamental of the isolation. But what we brought is, we were extremely green already before joining the Recticel group, and we signed in 2021 SBTi commitment, and according to the methodology, according to the scope 1 and scope 2, 25, we are going to be a zero carbon company. And our products are 99% recyclable. So, and in Recticel, this is 74%. We are now benchmarking and introducing the models of Trimo to other division inside Recticel. But I think for us it's important also the social, the S, because we are in the small community, and we are for this community fairly big company, and we need to take care. So we need to take care about small things. We need to take care about during the COVID we delivered the food from the company kitchen to the old people who were not able to get food. So one example. So this, I think, even if you are getting bigger and bigger business, you need to keep sensitivity for environment around you, near you, and you should do it. Simply, you should do. We are now for employees. There is a fun, because in Slovenia we have this lunch break. 30 minutes and one meal. But when you look today, it is, for me it was not logical. Why just one meal during the 8 hours? So we are now introducing the breakfast for all the people. And because we are working in shifts, there is also the dinner, so that people would have 2 meals instead of one big caloric one. And small things like that, you can change a lot about how people are feeling, because all, we are an industrial company.
Mr. Hammam, a big Pfizer, a big company, we had the pleasure to discuss how great it is that is run now by a Greek, Mr. Bourla, and you mentioned that it is important that they're open for all nations, so anybody with meritocracy, so with knowledge and experience, can become whatever. Is this something that you're bringing also to the community?
Yeah, we are so proud in Pfizer to continue promoting that diversity is power, and we see that whenever we are able to create a diversified team, we will be more stronger. As many of you reflected on different experiences, I moved from Dubai to Slovenia, and I believe that also Dubai is another example how diversity can bring prosperity to the community, and how being that attractive to talents can bring more. Going back to Pfizer, yes, definitely equity is one of our core values, where we are working to make sure that everyone is heard, seen, and make sure that everyone have the right to speak their hearts and to share their ideas. And within Adriatic, as I'm managing Adriatic, this is a topic that we are always discussing, considering also to have different colleagues from different nationalities, from different backgrounds, and this is the reason that we see ourselves even more competitive than others, bringing this opportunity for colleagues from different countries. And we are always saying in Pfizer that we don't have this glass ceiling, so everyone can reach to be a CEO if they really have the capabilities and the knowledge that allow them to go that high.
Great. Now, one off topic, Mr. Frangish. Whom you liked more, Santa Claus or Dedek Mraz? Because it leads something. I'm not crazy. I'm asking because it leads something.
Well, I have to admit, while I was a child, there was Dedek Mraz. But now, of course, my 3 children still believe in Santa Claus.
So is there someone in the room that doesn't know what Dedek Mraz is? Maybe our American friends? Oh, so explain first this. Dedek Mraz, who was he? Who is he?
Well, it was a copy of Santa Claus without
Coca-Cola. Okay, so you prefer Dedek Mraz, so now you will be Dedek Mraz, and these are your big kids that would like to have something from the country. Really quick, we started with 3 words. Now, something that you need to choose a priority. Mr. Lolio, what you will ask Dedek Mraz to bring?
Actually, as I started before, so please, first of all, figure it out how we increase the working population in Slovenia to make sure that your vision can get reality.
Great. Mr. Bese.
2,000 Python and Java developers.
Stay open and create opportunities.
Stability.
Innovative driven policies.
So data cameras, easy job for you. And with that, I would really like to thank you all. It was really interesting discussion. Thank you.